Good morning, students. How are you all? Hope you're fine with the grace of the Almighty God. So, students, as you know that we have started the explanation of the chapter, that is chapter 4 from the political science. And our topic of the chapter is key elements in the functioning of a democracy. So, students, as you know that we have previously explained all the topics. Like, for example, we have already completed the explanation of the elements of a democracy. We have already explained the participation of the pupil, need to resolve the conflicts, and in the need to resolve the conflicts, I have given the introduction of it, religious processions and the celebrations, sharing of river water. Today now, I'll teach you equality and justice. If you did not attend the previous class, then you go and attend the previous class. Okay, then you come and attend this class, otherwise you won't be able to understand. Okay, so let's get started. Equality, refers to be equal to everyone, right? Yes or no? It is, you can say, rights and advantages, etc. In a democracy, the government ensures that the citizens are treated equally. You can say that everybody should be treated equally in the democracy. Okay, in the democracy, everybody should be treated equally. Now, equality of the respective of the caste, class, gender, okay, and etc. When the people are not treated equally, then what will become? They will seek justice to the government. Okay, in India, the Constitution of the India outlines the various provisions, our rights they preserve, right, to ensure the equality in the society and provide justice to the people. For example, you can say untouchability has been abolished by the law. It is removed by the law. It is not supported by the law. You can say untouchability. People like Achut, they say no, they don't touch those who are, you can say, the poor, beggars, okay, the lower caste people, they don't, they feel very bad about them. That is very bad, okay. You should not do this kind of things, okay. This should be removed. Also, not only there are strict punishment against the, okay, there are very strict punishment against the people who practice untouchability. Those who practice untouchability, there are also very strict punishments are there. Okay, but there are also various provisions that provide equality opportunity of the education and employment to the victims of the caste-based discrimination. Now, those who are like treated unfairly by the society, the government is giving job also to them. Also, okay, government is giving job also. That is reserved jobs are there. Now you see, those who are scheduled caste people, scheduled tribe people, okay, they are getting reservation in the government job because government is giving employment opportunities to them. Okay. Similarly, in order to tackle the injustice against the women, special arrangements have been made, okay, to promote the education and employment of the women. For example, in poor families, girls are often discouraged. They are told, okay, they are discouraged. If the girl is from the poor family, they are discouraged, okay, not to go to school because boys are only meant to go to school. Thus, special schemes have been given by the government in the place of the either girls to waive off or lower the fees for the girls in the government school and the colleges. Also, not only this, girls are also getting free education in the government schools. Okay, case study, you study at home. Now I'll show you the animation. I hope that this will make your confusion very clear. Okay, so I did not share the sound. Wait, now I'm going to show you the animation. I'll share the sound.
Our government. Meaning of government. As we live in society, we are dependent on others for fulfilling our needs. At times, it gives rise to conflicts due to clash of interests. If there is no agency for the settlement of disputes, the powerful one would be able to dominate over the less powerful. This is the reason why society has laid down certain rules. The agency which enacts and enforces these rules upon society is the government. Every community, Be it a neighborhood, a village, a city, or a country, requires a set of people to make sure that day-to-day life goes on smoothly. The constitution of the country lays down the rules by which a country is to be governed. The group of people managing the affairs of a country is called a government. It takes various decisions and performs various functions. Next. Functions of government. Functions of the government can be classified in two categories. They are coercive, those functions which require the use of force, example, maintaining law and order, checking crimes, internal and external security, etc. Developmental, those functions or activities which are concerned with the welfare of the citizen. For example, construction of roads and bridges, schools, hospitals, etc. They include both economic and social activities. The government has three main organs. They are A. Legislature, B. Executive, C. Judiciary. The main function of the government is to maintain law and order. For that, laws have to be passed. These laws are made by the legislature, which introduces and passes laws. The function of the executive is to implement the laws, whereas judiciary is responsible for the settlement of the disputes in case of any controversy. Judiciary also ensures that laws are not misinterpreted either by the legislature or by the executive. In a democracy, people play an effective role in the working of the government. They decide who will govern them. If they are not satisfied with the working of the government, they can change the government through elections. One of the methods to change the government is to pass a no-confidence motion against the government as it leads to re-election. Thus, people participate in the decision-making and the government is therefore accountable to the people. It is a fact that these decision-making powers do not come easily to the people. Women did not have right to vote in many countries till the 20th century. The adult suffrage movement of the early 20th century was associated with the demand by women seeking the right to vote. Similarly, the blacks in South Africa were not given any representation in the parliament. The white minority regime in South Africa followed a policy of apartheid, which means racial segregation between whites and non-whites. The struggle against apartheid received support from all over the world. The first democratic elections in South Africa were held in 1994 and the African National Congress swept the polls. Nelson Mandela became the first non-racist president of South Africa. Today, all modern democratic states have adopted universal adult franchise, that is, the right of citizens above the age of 18 to vote. Nelson Mandela. Trivia. It is generally believed that the concepts of democracy and constitution were created in one particular place and time identified as ancient Athens, Sirsa, 508 BCE. There is an evidence to suggest that democratic forms of government, in a broad sense, have existed in several areas of the world well before the turn of the 5th century BCE. Trivia. A democracy, that is, a government of all the people, by all the people, for all the people, of course, a government after the principles of eternal justice, the unchanging law of God, for shortness' sake, I will call it the idea of freedom. Theodore Parker expressed this view about democracy in his speech in 1850. Different forms of government. Democratic governments can be of two types. A. Parliamentary. B. Presidential. Parliamentary form of government. 1. In this kind of government, the Prime Minister is the real head of the government, whereas the President is the executive head of the government. 2. The government is directly elected by the people and remains in power till it enjoys the support of the majority. 3. The Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party in the Parliament and appoints to form the Council of Ministers. Thus, there is a close coordination between legislature and executive. Presidential form of government. 1. In such a government, President is the real head. 2. He or she is elected by the people directly. 3. He or she is not responsible to the legislature as he or she is elected directly by the people. 4. He or she may not be the member of the party that wins a majority in the parliament. Unitary and federal system of government. Another way of classifying government is under the heads unitary and federal. A unitary form of government is one in which all power is centralized under one central government. The state government merely acts as the agency of the central government. In a federal form of government, power is divided between the center and states. The division of power lie with the Constitution. Usually, the center and state governments enjoy equal powers. But in India, the Constitution has given the central government more powers than the state government. That is why we say that India is a centralized federation or that Indian federation has a unitary bias. Dictatorship. It is a form of government which is directly opposite to democracy. People do not elect a government in a dictatorship, nor it is formed by the popular consent. Such a government is imposed on the people and does not depend on support of the people. People do not participate in the functioning of the government because government does not accept democratic principle of political equality. A dictatorial government is based on the use of force in the absence of collective responsibility.
So, students, I hope that you understood the explanation of the chapter. So, students, now I'm going to